and welcome to the Smashlight section. The section where we talk about whatever we want, no matter how scary it might be. Congratulations on, you know what I'm talking about here, and oh my god, let's put up some mood music. All right, let's get on to some substantive stuff here. And let's talk about how spooky and scary the media, governments, and corporations have made that out to be. The little Chinese virus. Could you say China? Now, I'd like to train everybody watching today's video to learn how to say China like Trump. So all you got to do is say it out of the top of your face. Don't speak from down here like an actor. Do not speak from deep within. Speak from up outside the top of your face and say China as if you have a sinus infection. China. It's spelled C-H-I-D-A. Now, one of the proponents of China is Joe Biden, and let me play a horrifying clip from him if you haven't heard it yet. Congratulations. Let me ruin your day.
I got hairy legs that turn blonde. In the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down, so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again.
So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you won't see brilliant stuff like this. We've got over nearly 3,000 posts. Did you know that Wal Thornhill, one of the proponents of electric stars, a thing that's not real, actually advertises for probiotics? Who knew? I mean, it's obvious that it must be Wal Thornhill, as there's a lightning bolt pointing right at his head. Congratulations on your sponsorship by this probiotic company, whoever it might be. Cheers. Let's talk about some cosmology stuff. An array of radio telescopes reveals explosion on the surface of a hot, dead star. Now, there's no such thing as a dead star as far as I know, as mankind has never seen a star born or die. This one's V407 Cygni, and here's a little video about its progression. Let's blow it up full screen. And you can see the interesting dual, or actually a trilobe outburst there. You can see it. It's kind of, it's outbursting sort of in this direction and this direction. Is that the Hall effect? Yeah. Congratulations. I mean, it might be. Some stuff in the universe is electric. However, stars are not fundamentally electric. And this is another interesting scenario here which refutes mainstream astronomy and cosmology. Why is that? Well, it's because they're referring to this as a hot, dead star. It's because people don't really understand and are very flippant and arrogant about stellar evolution. By the way, if you want to watch the transients for V407 Sig, the star featured in that article on phys.org's Astronomy and Space section, just head to the Neil Gorell Swift Bat X-ray Observatory and type in V407, and you'll find V407 Sig. There are the X-ray transients from it. And we actually saw an incredibly strong X-ray transient here only about 22 days ago. So that's how you read that, by the way. So if you look at this pane here, this is the multi-year pane, and 0.15, where this one came out, would be way off the chart. 0.15 would be, oh man, what did I do here? All right. 0.15 would be way above this. I mean, it would be somewhere like up here. Anyway, those are just the X-ray transients. Let's look at one more popular target. It's Cygnus X3, otherwise known as Deneb, part of the summer triangle. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it doesn't set all summer, and we've gone back up from a quiescent state now once again. So we watched this ramp down to a quiescent state, and now it's coming back up again, up to about 2.5, which would be around here. So now it's in a more average state. Cygnus X3, otherwise known as Deneb, the star at which Göbekli Tepe's monuments are oriented. Again, if you want to watch transients on your own, don't take our word for it. Watch them at the Neil Gorell Swift Observatory. The Burst Alert Telescope, which is monitoring X-rays on a lot of sources. How many, you ask? 1,026 at the current moment. Let's talk about the HR diagram. The HR diagram is called the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram, and this is how stars are classified. Now, this has to do with the nuclear fusion dynamo model of stars, which is clearly incorrect, as it characterizes stars as a gaseous plasma when stars are clearly made out of a condensed matter, as only a lattice structure could emit the sort of solar spectra and do all the other things. So check it out. Here's where Deneb falls on the HR diagram, and it's completely off of the scale. Why is that? Because the HR diagram is simply based on luminosity and surface temperature, which totally throws off the whole thing. It's a mystery as to why Betelgeuse does this, why Deneb does that, and why all of these on the main sequence, as it's known, do the other. Also, white dwarfs refute the nuclear fusion dynamo solar model. If you want to read about it, just look up HR diagram, the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. And again, this is all based on the nuclear fusion core dynamo model of the sun. And just bear with me 1 minute. I just want to make sure everything is in order here. So this gives you some idea, and this is a model that was come up with in the late 1800s. It's completely outdated, and it's not backed up by observation. So the theory that most mainstream astronomers believe is that there's a nuclear fusion core that's fusing hydrogen together into helium, and it's releasing incredible energy, and its photons are traveling through conduction, through a convective zone, and it's completely in violation of all the laws of thermodynamics, pretty much. Stars are made out of condensed matter, and they're not electric, fundamentally speaking, and they're certainly not made of a gaseous plasma. End of story. Let's talk about Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse. Some new studies out showing that the likelihood of dust causing Betelgeuse's dimming, or major changes in terms of its diameter not being the cause, it looks like there were giant stellar spots taking up nearly 70% of its surface area. Giant stellar spots, star spots, kind of like sunspots, but ultra huge, since they're on a thing that's about the size of Jupiter's orbit if it were in our solar system. Betelgeuse, looking more and more because of terahertz wavelength studies. So it looks like that dimming of Betelgeuse that was so popular a little while ago produced giant star spots. And you can see some idea of it there in that December 2019 image. Telescopes measuring radiation from the spectral range of sub-millimeter waves known as terahertz radiation, not tetrahertz, terahertz, whose wavelength is 1,000 times greater than that of visible light. Invisible to the eye, astronomers have been using them for some time to study interstellar dust. And again, it doesn't look like it was dust that caused it to get 20% less bright. An asymmetric temperature distribution is more likely, a thing like a sunspot, but ultra huge because, again, the star is ultra huge. Another article on phys.org. And let's get back to the spooky, scary spookiness of the scary spookiness, propaganda and nonsense of thing that's not particularly deadly. And now we're going to hear all about cases. Oh no, there are a lot of cases. See, here's the way it works in a normal, non-broken world, folks. We quarantine sick people, and if sick people must go out, then the sick people wear masks. People in surgical bays wear masks. People who work in nursing homes wear masks. Not healthy people at the grocery store. That is complete, total, 100% and utter COVIDiocy. That thing is made in China, and it's not particularly deadly. By the way, if you'd like to hear about it, well, we'll refer you to smashomash.com/forum in a moment. And welcome to the new pathologized totalitarianism. Oh yes, so now this can be summoned at any moment, data can be cherry-picked at any moment, and your entire state, country, or planet can just be locked down because of the scary, spooky, apocalyptic pandemic. So let's talk about pathologized totalitarianism. The genius of it is like an old joke about the devil. His greatest trick was convincing us that he doesn't exist. The greatest trick of this is existing that it's dangerous for healthy people, and that healthy people should be quarantined, and that, oh no, everybody is a viral vector. Most of you are probably immune naturally to this, and by the way, the best thing you can do to prevent coronavirus is to be healthier. So focus on your cardiovascular health. And look, if you want to wear a mask, feel free. If you think you're sick, wear a mask. Don't try to get me to wear a mask when I'm not sick. That is nonsense. So I'm in favor of disclaimers. And hey, it's just a harmless piece of cloth, right? What could possibly go wrong with having entire areas of people wearing masks? It's just a harmless piece of cloth, right? By the way, if you want to hear about emotional well-being, here's an interesting survey. I'll just read a clip. This one is from SciTech Daily. Understanding the psychological side of this pandemic has been somewhat neglected because there is so much else that is of concern right now. Paulson said, our survey findings indicate that the anxiety and depression related to the emotional impact of these events are pushing more and more people into the clinical category of what is diagnosable as a mental health condition. We want people to seek the help they need. Now, I'm somebody who suffered from PTS about 9,000 times, and I was a serious skateboarder from 1983 to 1993 or so. And it's all about getting back up, folks. Some of us are a little bit less susceptible to trauma because of experiencing it so many times. I don't recommend it, and don't mess with your pain threshold. That'll ruin your day too. But check this out. Let's talk some good news. It turns out that an Alzheimer's drug is effective against diabetes-related amyloid plaque circulatory system damage. So, while a bunch of stories are going to be slipping under the radar, we're not letting this one slip under the radar. Good news, great news, in fact, as Alzheimer's disease and diabetes are two extremely pervasive problems because people refuse to focus on their cardiovascular health or know much about nutrition, period. Everybody wants to simply take a pill, and perhaps we've found one. This image here is showing the surface blood vessels of a mouse not treated with M3, the experimental compound which stops the actions of beta amyloid plaques. So the left is the non-treated mouse, and the right is the treated mouse, and that's higher surface blood flow levels being shown there in a measured form. So great news once again. It opens up the possibility that scientists can develop a medicine that inhibits the actions of beta amyloid plaque base 1, with the evidence suggesting it may not only halt the progress of the disease in blood vessels, but could reverse it. Because basically, folks, your power comes from within, and you have incredible abilities to heal yourself, unlike these folks right here, Pennsylvania's top COVIDiots, Governor Tom Wolf, and Pennsylvania Physician General, former NCAA linebacker Dr. Rachel Levine, who are for some reason making health decisions for us in Pennsylvania. And to you two plutocratic corporatists, that's an awful nice government you got there. Be a shame if it shuts down, huh? Anyway, I'm thinking about making merch in this form right here. What do you think? As I've survived the global pandemic, your ancestors survived things much worse than this global pandemic. What say you? I think we're going to maybe sell these shirts for $25 plus shipping each, as I like to poke fun at things that are scary and spooky, because some of us aren't scared or spooked at all. by things that lots of people think are scary and spooky. One thing that's not scary and spooky at all, where we're busting entropy on the regs, is at smashomash.com/forum. If you want a timeline on COVID-19, head to the Free-for-All forum. And by the way, the whole thing's free-for-all. We're nearly to 1,300 registered users. Click on the Free-for-All forum and scroll down. We've got a 30-plus page timeline starting back on January 23rd. The last updates were back on May 29th. Why? Because I stopped covering it, because I find it to be irrelevant to reality. Anyway, the first thing I said about it in the forum was, is it dangerous? Not particularly for healthy people. What are coronavirus? And where did they come from? So if you want to read all about it, it's a timeline all the way from January 23rd to May 29th. And thanks for tuning in to the Smashlight section. Let's move on to some more stuff. And again, congratulations all you daily space weather types for surviving a global